Hello, today I'm still talking about blockchain and we're going to be talking about how the blockchain stays secure. First, let's talk about how hashing maintains the blockchain's integrity. As we know, hashing is generating a random string of characters from a given input. The input for blockchain would be all of the items in that blockchain, its hash, its previous hash. I'm going to discuss how this is vital to the design of blockchain. In the blockchain, each block has a unique hash and a link to the previous block's hash. If a participant decides to tamper with a block by modifying the transactions, the block's unique hash gets changed. However, the following block does not update this change. It still points to the previous block's hash. This mismatch between hashes breaks the link between the blocks. This results in an invalid copy of the blockchain. This means the records in that blockchain cannot be altered. The records are immutable. Could someone then tamper with a block and then recalculate the hashes for every single block in that chain? Does this mean that hashing still guarantees that blockchain is secure? On the screen is a quick example, and it shows an attacker updating all the blocks, which would then succeed in creating a valid copy of the blockchain. So to protect the blockchain from outside interference, there is another layer of security. This is to stop participants from tampering with their copy of the blockchain and then tricking everyone on the network into updating their copies with the tampered version. This is where proof of work is used to stop anyone from tampering with the subsequent blocks and thus taking over the blockchain. Proof of work relies on cryptography instead of anonymous participants to verify transaction. This makes it very difficult for participants to modify the blocks by recalculating the hashes. This makes a trustless system because it doesn't rely on any anonymous users, and it's the main reason why blockchain is so secure. Proof of work introduces an additional security constraint to verify transactions. This constraint takes the form of a computationally difficult math problem. This means that it takes a lot of time to solve, even for the computer. This is where a special group of participants, known as miners, come in. They need to solve a problem in order to be eligible to broadcast a block into the chain. The problem, also known as proof of work, takes the form of a guessing game that involves the use of hashing. The hash function that is most commonly used to create the hash for the block is SHA-256. Miners first guess a nonce value, which is then combined with the contents of the block, the transactions, the timestamp, and the previous hash value. They repeat this process until the desired hash is generated. The first miner to produce a proof broadcasts their unconfirmed block together with the correct nonce value. The rest of the network then verifies the calculation. If the majority of the participants agree, then the proof of work for that block is complete and the block has been confirmed. The network then moves on to the next block. The blockchain participants always consider the longest chain to be the correct one. If someone is able to create the longest chain of blocks, even if those blocks are fake, then the network is forced to accept the new chain. The reason for this is because the blockchain network assumes that the longest chain has the most amount of computational work done in finding the proof of concept for each block. The network thinks the longest chain has the most proven record of transactions. If a participant decides to tamper with a block, they would need to solve the proof of work for each subsequent block in order to introduce the tampered block into the network. This is computationally infeasible and almost impossible. Even if a participant had a supercomputer working on solving all of the proof of concepts for each block, there would be newer blocks being added to the blockchain at a faster rate. This would be a losing battle and a complete waste of time. They would never win against the entire network. This means that a block gets increasingly more tamper-proof as newer blocks are added onto it. Proof of work makes it harder to get through the entire blockchain and allows someone to introduce fake transactions. On the screen again are a few key terms that you will need to know. My next video will be very interesting, so I hope you tune in.